Is it possible to break your metabolism? Or is starvation mode the reason you can't lose weight? And maybe you're one of those people that feel like you can't eat above 1200 calories a day or you're going to instantly gain weight. If you answered yes to any of those questions, you need to stick around because we're going to bust some myths, we're going to talk about some science, and get to the truth as to what exactly is going on. As well, I'm going to provide you a surprising solution that you may not have considered. Oh yeah, and don't forget to mash that subscribe button so you can continue to get evidence-based, backed advice on weight and health. So before we get too far into things, I want to acknowledge something, and that is losing weight is effing hard. Changing your behaviors is effing hard. Like, not just like a little bit hard, like really, really fucking hard. And this is because, well, you're a human being, and our bodies are actually designed to be fat storage machines. Therefore, when you feel like you're doing everything right, and that number on the scale still won't budge, it can be extremely frustrating and emotionally draining. But I'm here to tell you, you're not alone in this battle, and it is not your fault. As well, your metabolism isn't broken, and it's not the villain everyone makes it out to be. Your metabolism is just a little bit misunderstood. As an aside, if you happen to be curious about how many calories and how much protein you should be consuming on a day-to-day basis, well, you are in luck because I've got a fancy dandy total daily energy expenditure calculator down below in the links that you can check out, enter your data, and it will tell you how many calories and how much protein you need to consume to reach your goals. Some people think that if you consume too little in terms of calories, you're actually going to start gaining weight. And this is simply not true. If you are continually in a calorie deficit, you will continue to lose weight until eventually you die because there's nothing left of you. Your body just doesn't shut down your metabolism entirely and go into hibernation and ultimately cause you to gain weight from any food that you eat. But in saying that, while your body doesn't shut down the metabolism completely, it does adapt your metabolism. And we call this metabolic adaptation. What ends up happening is your body becomes more fuel efficient, your body becomes lazier and will get you to move less on a day-to-day basis, and your body and brain are going to ramp up your hunger, cravings, and appetite to whole new levels. All of this is done to preserve whatever fat we have on our bodies and prevent you from losing more, but to also start the process of trying to get you to gain that fat back. So your metabolism isn't broken, it's actually a survival genius. You see, 30,000 years ago, when food was scarce, this system was extremely effective at keeping our human race alive. Not only that, when we would go long periods without food, our bodies also developed the system to get us to overeat and overconsume when we finally got food in our environment. And this again is because 30,000 years ago, when we got a woolly mammoth down or what have you, we would sit down and we would gorge ourselves and consume as much of that mammoth meat as we possibly could. And that was because tomorrow the mammoth meat would be bad and we didn't know when our next woolly mammoth was going to come along. So we needed to eat and consume and store as much energy as we possibly could on our bodies in order to continue surviving. And unfortunately, those relatives of ours that weren't very good at this process, well, they're not our ancestors today because they all died off. Now, what about the myth where eating more than 1200 calories makes me instantly gain weight? Well, there's a couple of things that's actually happening in this case. Number one, if you're eating more food, that means more digestion and more waste, which means more poop. Yes, I said it. Eating more food means your body has more to process, and that can lead to a temporary gain in your weight. We then have the gain of water weight. As you eat more food, it's going to have more water, more salt, and that can also cause a temporary gain in our weight because we're just consuming more of those things that are putting more water on the body. And the final thing a lot of people don't think about is glycogen. Glycogen is our body's way of storing carbs and sugar for energy at a later time. And we store large amounts of glycogen not only in our liver, but also all of the muscles throughout our body. And for most people, they on average can store about 400 to 500 grams of glycogen. And a fun fact, for every gram of glycogen that your body stores, it also stores 3 grams of water to go along with it. Therefore, when you consume more food, you're likely going to be consuming more carbs, which is then going to cause more glycogen to be stored and put into your muscles and liver. And so, this could lead to a pretty big jump on the scale. As an example, if your body stores about 500 grams of glycogen, that means it's storing about 1500 grams of water, so 2 kilos suddenly added on, or about 4.4 pounds. Similarly, when people go on a keto diet, they'll see a large drop in weight initially as those glycogen storage and that water that is with it leaves the body and isn't being replenished. So we can get some pretty large fluctuations in weight, and it's going to be more and less depending on how active you are and the various other things you've got going on. And I know, it's hard not to panic when we see the number on the scale goes up. But if you had pasta the night before for dinner, well, yeah, the number on the scale is going to be up because your glycogen storage has been increased, you're holding more water, all of those things have come together, and so it's not fat that you have gained, it is simply your body readjusting, and eventually it will restabilize if you keep eating that amount of calories. Okay, we've now busted the myths. What about this thing called metabolic adaptation? Well, if you have spent years yo-yo dieting or constantly being on a diet and restricting your calories, you can cause a great deal of metabolic adaptation. You have basically taught your body that food is often scarce, we don't know when our next meal is going to come, and so we need to constantly be metabolically adapted to be more fuel efficient, trying to get you to move less, and increasing your cravings and hunger in order to preserve what fat we have and try to get you to regain weight. It's kind of like when your phone goes into low battery mode. The phone's still running, but it becomes more efficient in how it's utilizing the energy in order to conserve what little is left. The key point here is that the longer that you've been yo-yo dieting, the longer that you're staying in a calorie deficit, the greater the adaptation is going to be, and the harder it is going to be for you to lose weight going forward. Fortunately though, we can reverse this process. And hey, if you are ready to start taking control of your health and feel supported along the way, well, I've got some great news for you. I've created a brand new online community called Dr. Dan's Empowerment Hub. It's a safe, judgment-free space where you can get evidence-backed information, daily inspiration, and connections with individuals just like yourself who are on their weight management journey and want to feel that connection and support of a community. And for the month of December, we are providing free access to the community, so it's a perfect time to join. And you can start making small, sustainable changes that are going to stick. So check out all the links down below, and I look forward to seeing you there. The solution to this metabolic adaptation is what we call a diet break. This means gradually increasing your calories back up to your maintenance level over a period of time in order to give your metabolism a bit of a break. Think of it kind of like a refresh button on your body. We're basically saying, hey, I figured out this whole hunting gathering thing. I'm pretty good at it now. There's food in the environment and you no longer have to worry about us dying and no longer being here. And so we can become a little less fuel efficient, we can increase that metabolic rate, and ultimately when I try to go and lose weight again, it can make it a heck of a lot easier to do it. So in order to perform a diet break, you want to increase your calorie intake to your maintenance level of calories based on your age, height, and weight. And if you don't know what that number is for you, then again, you want to go down below, check out my TDEE calculator, and select Improve Health. Put in your information and it will tell you what amount of calories you should be eating along with the amount of protein to eat. Once you have that maintenance number, you want to slowly increase your calories from where it is currently to that number by going about 100 to 200 calories increase each week. You're going to want to focus on protein, fiber-rich foods, and making sure that you're hitting the gym and getting a good amount of resistance training in order to help build and strengthen your muscles so that you can help to further increase that metabolic rate. Now, medications like Wegovy and Zepbound can certainly help with this journey, but if you're currently on a very high dose and struggling to eat more food, you may need to adjust the dose of that medication in order to allow for you to consume a higher amount of calories, so be sure to keep checking in with your healthcare team. Now, as an FYI, you're probably going to see that number on the scale go up, and that is perfectly normal. As we already reviewed, some of it's going to be poop, it's mostly going to be water, and it's mostly going to be glycogen. So seeing that number go up is not a reason to give up on everything and start cutting your calories back. You need to give your body time to heal and get back to where it wants to be. Now, for how long do we need to do this? Well, that's going to depend on a huge number of factors. An average number, I would usually say about 12 weeks, but usually for most people, it's going to be a little bit more. A really good test to determine if you've kind of been doing it for long enough and you're ready to start trying to lose weight would be to think of your mind and your brain kind of like ChatGPT. And if you type in, "Are you ready to do a diet?" and ChatGPT, your brain, punches out cookies? Probably a good sign that you need to be on maintenance for a little bit longer. So patience is going to be key in this process. You're not going to lose weight for a while, but that is okay because you are making your body healthier, stronger, and you're going to come back even better. If you continue just to keep restricting and pushing things down, you're only going to make that problem worse. So focus on your health and focus on becoming strong AF. And remember, your metabolism isn't broken, it is just misunderstood, and in fact, it's just doing its job to keep you alive. But with the right approach, you can start taking control of your life, your health, and moving in the direction you want to go. So, do you think a diet break will be something that you'll be able to do? If so, if not, let me know. Drop it down below in the comments. That is it, and that is all, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. First off, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss out when I put in another video. Second, if you enjoyed this video and you think someone else might enjoy this video, then be sure to share it with your friends. As well, don't forget to check out all of the links down below so you can sign up for my newsletter and get more information on the comings and goings and all the things that I'm doing. As well, check out the links to sign up and start being a part of the Dr. Dan's Empowerment Hub community, which again is free for the month of December. Also, check me out on my other social media channels, and as I always like to sign off, please remember, it is going to be the small tweaks that lead to the massive peaks.